Hello, everyone, and welcome to God Speaks Today. I'm Deborah Gaston, and this is just the time that I like to come and encourage you, wherever you are in your walk with the Lord, to give you a word from God, whether it's directly from the Bible or just to share my heart with you, something that will encourage you and hopefully allow you to see God as He truly is and to understand how extravagantly loved you are by God. I want to see, and this is just these are the verses that are kind of ringing in my spirit today. I want to see the words that Paul prays for the church of Ephesus in chapter 3 of his letter to the Ephesians, that you would come to know with all the saints, and I want to say this exactly the way it should be said, that Christ would dwell in your hearts by faith, and that ye being rooted and grounded in love, and the Bible tells us that God is love, may come to understand with all the saints, all the other believers, the height, the breadth, the length, the depth, and to know experientially, not just with head knowledge, but to know the love of Christ that passes all knowledge. Now, that's something to me. Every time I read those words, I thought, how do you know something that passes knowledge? But that's the prayer that Paul is praying for the church of Ephesus and for us. And that is my prayer for you every week that I come on to just share from my heart, or to share from the Father's heart, a word of encouragement. I want you to hear Him speaking specifically to you and know how much He loves you. So, my prayer for you today, before we go any further, is that Christ dwells in your heart by faith, and that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all the saints the breadth, the length, the depth, the height, and know experientially the love of Christ that passes all knowledge, so that you will be filled with all the fullness of God. That is my prayer for you today. And so I'm coming on today, and I've got a lot of thoughts going on. So I'm really going to just want to share from my heart. For many of you, well, not many, some of you will know that um, my oldest niece, Kimberly, went on to be with the Lord on May the 1st. And at the time of she transitioned, I was in Belize, and I was communicating back and forth with my niece and my youngest niece. And one of the things that I began praying as soon as her youngest sister called me and let me know what was going on, is I said, God, I just really want her to know in this moment how much you love her and how much she is loved by others. Let her just be enveloped with that love in such a way that allows her to know that. And I want us, you, to be enveloped in such a way that you know the magnitude and the extravagance of the love that God has for you. And so as she transitioned to be with the Lord, and I've spent a lot of time just really thinking about her and about her life, um, and about life in general, there's something that is very sobering when a loved one transitions. There's something very sobering that makes us all kind of stop and reflect, and we want to make sure that we are, at least I do, and my prayer for you is that we are living our lives well, and that we're living wisely, and that we are living as those who are truly loved by God, that we understand the depths of God's love for us, that this God who created you out in His own image, who has given His very breath to each and every one of us, who has who says he knows the number of hairs on your head. He has given us everything, the word says, pertaining to life and to godliness. He has made us partakers of his divine nature. And he loved us to the degree that he gave his only begotten son to die for our sins and to restore relationship with him. That is the love that God is. Jesus came and he said to give us abundant life. And I want us to just take a few moments to really understand this love, how valuable you are, how much God delights in you, just you, not what you do or don't do, but because you are you, he delights. He knows that there is so much more that he has for you. And he simply wants you to believe you are who he says you are and to live the life that he has ordained for you. Understanding the same thing that he spoke of Jeremiah: before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you, intimately knew every detail about you. And I set you apart and consecrated you to be. He knows everything about you. This is the God who has created you. As David said, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, because what else could God do but create someone fearfully and wonderfully? That's you. And it's so important that if we're going to live our lives wisely and if we're going to live well and live as those who are loved, that we really understand the depth of God's love for us and embrace and know how much he absolutely delights in us. One of the things that, that I don't really believe that my niece fully understood, was that the depth of that love that God has, how much he delighted in her. And I want you to hear God speaking to you today, just simply saying, I delight in you, that I love you more than you can ever grasp with your human understanding, that you bring him pleasure, that you bring him joy, that you bring him delight, that he leaps. And he spends this verse in Zephaniah, where Zephaniah 3:17, and God is speaking over Israel, and he's saying these words to him: I will take delight in you. I will quiet you with my love. I rejoice over you with singing. And the picture, if you look at that in the Hebrew, is God dancing and singing over you. Can you imagine God dancing and singing over you? He sees you and he is so delighted that you have come. Oh, wow, look at my wonderful creation, whom I love with an everlasting love. We have to understand this. It's not based on what you do. It's based on who he is. And God is love. Understand that you are precious to him. Understand that you warm his heart. Understand that he loves spending time with you. He loves communing with you. He loves sharing his heart with you. He loves when you come to him just to be with him. And that he desires so much for you. And as we remain totally open, as you remain totally open to him, he opens doors for you. He clears paths for you. He provides resources for you. He will expand your boundaries. He will enlarge the place of your tents. So he's saying, stretch out your curtains wide and don't hold back. Lengthen your cords, for you will spread to the left and to the right. That's his promise. He's spoken to you from the very beginning of the great things that he has for you. And it has pleased him to do so. No, he delights in you. He's exalted his word above his very name. That's how much he loves you. That's how much he desires for you. And as I said, it's always a sobering moment when a loved one transitions, and it causes us to think. I am grateful knowing that my niece knew the Lord and she's with him. I am delighted to know that whatever pain she was in physically or emotionally, all of that has been erased, that she truly, truly is living in his love and his joy and his delight, and she's truly at rest. But again, I think about this defining moment of sorts that the older I get, I become more acutely aware that life is tenuous and it's very, very precious. And while we always continue to stand in the finished work of Jesus Christ, and we believe the promise in Psalm 91 that he will satisfy us with long life, we really don't know the number of our days. Moses wrote in Psalm 90, teach us to number our days so that we may apply wisdom. Help us to understand. In essence, what he's saying is help us to understand that we aren't going to be here forever. The Message translates that verse this way. It says, oh, teach us to live well. Teach us to live wisely and well, because we don't know how long we will truly be here. And I think sometimes we put things on hold. We think it's going to happen sometime in the future. But Jesus has given us abundant life, and we must embrace it and live it now. There's a saying, I don't know who said it, it's unknown, is that this is a trick. The trick is to enjoy life. Don't wish away days waiting for better ones ahead. That each day is a gift of God. Each breath is a gift from God. And we want to unpack each day and unwrap each day as the gift that it truly is. We want to live well, live wisely, live loved. There are things we cannot, should not, must not put off for tomorrow. My niece's transition serves as a reminder to me and to all of us to live fearlessly, to take deep breaths, inhaling and then exhaling love and laughter and joy and grace and peace. What a magnificent gift God has given us in Jesus Christ. Christ said, I came that you may have life, and that more abundantly. He has given us abundant life. There's no rewind button. There are no do-overs. This is it, y'all. And it is filled with wonder and promise and delight and joy and laughter and love if we are willing to see it in each moment of each day and simply embrace the grandness, the preciousness, this gift of life that we have. Be determined to live fully. Despite the challenges, know that it is so worth the living. Life is worth the living. And I'm determined. And I want to encourage you to be determined to lay down each night knowing that you have unwrapped the gift of life that God has given you for that day, that you've explored all the wonderful possibilities, that you have loved, that you have given, that you have tasted the beauty of that day, of that moment, of that life, that you've made a difference in someone else's life, that you've honored God by simply living wisely, living well, and having no regrets. We only get to do this one time, y'all. Know who you are. Walk in purpose and destiny. Walk as one who is extravagantly loved by God. Let your light shine. Be all that God has created you to be. Walk in purpose, live out destiny, and know that you are living well. And that's all I got for you today. Let us embrace life as the gift it is. Live wisely, live well, live loved. I hope you've heard God speak to you, or at least you've heard my heart. I um, hope that you will share this with someone, whatever platform you're watching on, if it has been a blessing to you. If you want to know more about God Speaks, you may go to my God Speaks blog. It's godspeakstoday.me. And there'll be all kinds of things out there that you can read that I've written over a period of time. Or you may want to purchase a copy of God Speaks. The book is available on Amazon. And you are more than welcome to go and just check that book out. It's God Speaks by Deborah A. Gaston, and you can get it in ebook form or in print form on Amazon. And I hope you'll join us next week, next Wednesday, for more words of encouragement as we hear God speak today. Have a wonderfully blessed day, blessed week, and remember, there are no do-overs. So live wisely, live well, and live love. I'll see you next time.